Many people don't realize that how our communities are designed has an awful lot to do with how healthy we are. After all, if you don't have a sidewalk outside your front door, it's pretty hard to go for a walk after dinner or to walk to a destination that's nearby. Or if you don't have a fresh fruit market down the street, then you're probably less likely to go buy fresh fruits and vegetables on a regular basis. The point is that community design, or what we call the built environment, seems to be clearer and clearer having effects on how healthy we are and, in fact, the health of an entire community. I'm Mark Fenton. I'm a public health planning and transportation consultant from the Boston area, and I'm lucky enough to have been invited to Evansville by the Welborn Baptist Foundation and a host of coalition partners, all of whom are looking at environments and policies in Evansville and Vanderburgh County and hoping to try to create a healthier environment by virtue of the design of the community. Now that means we're not going to just sit and talk about it, and we're not going to just talk about programs that encourage people to eat their 5 fruits and vegetables a day or to get out and take a walk. We're actually going to go out and look at the environment and begin to ask questions about whether the design, whether the actual things you see on the ground around the area here encourage people to make healthy choices or not. So we're going to hit a series of locations, and we'll be looking at everything from the continuity of the sidewalk network to the quality of the Pigeon Creek Greenway system and the adjoining trails to whether we only have fast food as a choice for our eating options or whether there's a grocery store with fresh fruits and vegetables in nearby neighborhoods. All of those things are a part of our analysis, or if you will, audit of the environment that we're going to go take a walk and look at right now. The number of communities I have been in around the country where we're going to build a downtown convention center, arena, ball field, some magnet that's going to be the economic engine that turns the downtown around. I cannot possibly count the number that have thought that. The number in which it's actually happened, I can count because it's 0. Downtown convention centers and arenas and things like that, in my experience, I can't find an example where that alone did it. It's all of it together. And you need the downtown residential, and you need a system like this that is not just a recreational system, but a transportation system that allows people to ride a bike into work. So think of the American River Trail in Sacramento, California. That's a great recreational corridor, but also people are bike commuting into downtown Sacramento on it. How much is more downtown parking a part of the plan? Are they talking more?
It's not.
Good.
It's really not.
Great. Brilliant. That's the right answer. You know that.
That's
Do you guys
part
all
of it.
understand
That's
why
part
that's
of
not
it.
the right answer?
Yeah.
More downtown parking?
People
You don't
can
want
just ride
cars.
into the event and then they
You
leave.
got it. You don't want cars, you want people downtown. And you get that with a good transit system and downtown residential and reasons to stay and live and be down there all the time. And just to be clear, other side of the street, we have habitat housing coming in here too. So you really got an area-wide sort of metamorphosis potentially, right, going on there. Well, there's this massive move nationally, as you guys all know, back toward neighborhood schools, and sort of to some degree, that's what you're describing here, right, with the school integrate. And some of it is pure dollars and cents. The transportation costs were killing schools all over the country. Louisville was looking at this. I mean, schools, I did work in Milwaukee where they looked at the raw numbers and they said, we simply cannot afford to be busing so many kids all over the town. And understandably, there were really important reasons to look at sort of intermingling and mixing the student populations, and everybody, I think, still really sensitive to that, but at the same time acknowledging the benefit of an older brother being able to walk his 2 younger kids, sister and brother, to school.
And I think also one of the other reasons they've been looking at is how the teachers then have that exposure to the same family.
Yep. So there's some continuity. Yeah, and you can get role modeling. Well, just from the Safe Routes to School standpoint, I would say, as we think about the opportunity to walk and bicycle to school as one of the pieces of a physical activity, sort of approach that's everything from PE in school to recess to after-school programs, all the stuff you're working on. But to Safe Routes to School is a piece of that puzzle. Neighborhood schools really help you there, because if we are within walking distance of neighborhoods, and the older siblings can walk with younger ones, you begin to overcome one of the biggest parent barriers, which is fear. I'm worried that the streets aren't safe, but if I'm walking with my older brother, and in a group of 6 or 8 kids too, a passel of kids from the neighborhood, that's a much safer environment, we all know. but that's right. You know, that's sort of, it's big money if you want to start doing separated, what we call separated grade crossings, where you take pedestrians under, or even more expensive, over. And here's the interesting thing. If I said, I'm going to write you a $1.5 million check right now, is that the first thing you would use it for? One overhead crossing at one intersection. Particularly if I said that school could get a part of that money. So you could say, well, wait, what if I could save $500,000 and give it to the school and not lose 3 teachers I'm supposed to use? Then use the other $1 million to do, let me a portion of it to do a real high quality at grade crossing where these pedestrians are crossing right now. And then, so could we make that a safer crossing? Maybe that's fine, although I gotta tell you, a lot of exposure, they're gonna get clipped by the bus right now. Oh, no, they dodged it. They dodged the bus, or that driver who drove right through.
At least the type of crossing there is a modern piano key height.
Yeah, it is, good, exactly. It's good striping. So that the ladder striping or piano key is good, and there are pedestrian signal timings. But more importantly, check out the radius of curvature on that far corner. Does everybody see? Those cars didn't have to slow below about 30 miles an hour, 25 to take that turn. And this one too, these big sweeping turns invite cars to take it. So those pedestrians, when they were out there, they actually had an advantage that there was a group of 5 or 6 of them that made them much more visible. But it's really easy for a single pedestrian to be a very, very, sort of risky enterprise on a road that wide with this kind of volume and the number of conflicts. I mean, look at the number. They got to watch for the right turning vehicle from up there. Yeah, so now they're crossing. Well, they are crossing up there. Check it out. Not at the, because is any other treatment offered? There's no pedestrian crossing marked here. And I don't know on the far side. Let's go take a look. We got to look, you guys. All right, I think we have to cross this way, guys. I don't know what else we're supposed to do. Heads up. Just soon hitches let you go, apparently. Let's punch this. Okay. No, there's a signal. I don't know if there's a countdown.
That's what's missing.
Yeah, that would be all. And
Well, it would be a nice
audible.
treatment, but also a median island, audible signal. But I think you need a median refuge on a cross this long. So this is a classic example. And interestingly enough, there's a median island there. So the question would be, what would it take to extend the nose of that island out to here and give, okay, here we got it.
And then we're getting the morning on.
Well, that means.
But that's okay, it just means don't start. Yeah, if it gives us the full time to finish, that's all right. I think it's, heads up, guys. Don't let me get run over. Cover me, cover me!
And as you suspected,
Yeah, so there's nothing. So 3 legs have no treatment. So those pedestrians coming up the side, they did exactly what they're expected to do, which is walk up and you know why they crossed away from the intersection? We all know this. Because there are fewer conflicts there.
Yeah.
They try to cross here, they got to worry about right turns, people coming out of that right turn pocket lane. Whereas if they go up there, in fact, there is a marked crossing right up there. They're
That's
actually,
cool.
that's right. So that's where the logical spot is to get away from the intersection and cross right there. So I have had, I'll probably mention this tomorrow. I've had an engineering buddy say to me, and others have said they use this rule of thumb. For each additional percentage of time it takes you to go to use an overpass, you're going to lose that percentage of pedestrians to doing it. So if it takes 20% longer, about 20% of pedestrians will forego it and walk across at grade. If it takes 50% longer, then about half are going to walk at grade. By the time it takes 100% longer, it takes you twice as long, almost nobody's using the bridge and they're just going to cross at grade. It's only a rule of thumb, and it's just based on anecdotal observation, but it certainly sounds convincing in the sense that it agrees with my observation, which was the more I have to go out of my way. Now, as I think about, the reason I think it's good we walked up here, look at the approach. Coming from that neighborhood, how would you most logically come to this? Would you go up to the street, walk the sidewalk down below us, then do serpentine back and forth? No way, right? What you would do is you would walk to the corner of the fence down there on the other side of the little ice cream place, angle straight across the parking lot, through the drive-through traffic and everything, just like I did, and then climb over the little fence down there, the rail, just like I did, and then go up, because intuitively you're going to take the shortest route. None of that is a judgment on anybody. It just, I know how the high school brain works, and they are far more, they're going to definitely come that route, climb right over. My son would probably try to scramble up the exterior of the thing and climb over the fence if he could avoid going up the ramp. He would use the ramp, but only when he's on a skateboard to go rocketing down. I mean, I know exactly how he... You guys, I just want to make a quick observation. I wanted to get the classic all the lanes full picture. You'll notice I'm not able to, right? I mean, now why is that?
This one goes nowhere.
Right, so when is it? When is it full?
7:30.
Yeah, I think
7:30.
Okay, and what does full mean? What is full?
Here they come right here.
Traffic will back up to
Here you
this.
go.
All right, here it comes. Now watch. Let's think about what full means. This is what we call a platoon of vehicles. It's a platoon. That's actually a term used by traffic engineers. That was less than 7 seconds, right? 1,000, 2, 1,000, about. And now we're back to empty asphalt. And then we'll have a car. At peak hour, 7:30 in the morning, and probably 4:30 in the afternoon, maybe
5-ish.
5, whatever, 4:35. That'll get higher, but they'll still be platooned. I guarantee you there'll be points where I could stand out in the middle of the asphalt there, because they get platooned by the lights. The lights clumps the vehicles and then lets them go. We, in fact, create lots of that capacity at that intersection right down there to store vehicles at that light when it gets stopped. That's just a transportation planning tactic that we use. But what we're doing, therefore, is paving a huge amount. In the analogy that's often given by engineers when we talk about it, we say, if you were designing a hotel,
Look at this. One car.
if you were designing a hotel, would you design the pipes, the sewer pipes, so that every toilet in the hotel could flush exactly simultaneously? Or do you assume that there's going to be some spacing and that, so you're going to size the pipes? Otherwise, you'd have to have pipes this big in every hotel in America, right? Coming down from the upper floors. Does everybody understand that? So you realize that there's some parsing up. We design roads for the hour a day, that the highest volume, and for the moment when that platoon of vehicles goes by, not for the 10 seconds either side of that. I mean, it's an amazing reality about how we do design and the price we pay for it. This is a lot of real estate. When you take this long, skinny strip, but think about how wide it is versus what it might be, communities are really rethinking that. So that's just sort of, and I'm not even, everything I've stated is just fact. The judgment part is for you as a community to think about, what do we want? So, this same intersection, this same treatment in Montreal, they did, and actually in Tucson, Arizona. I can tell you a bunch of places, but I just happened to study because I was on the jurors for the Institute of Transportation Engineers for pedestrian projects. Every year they recognize. So here's one of the ones that won. They put a mid-block crossing right here, not at an intersection, which again, for traffic engineers is sometimes considered blasphemous. No, you put the crossings at the intersection, but they said there's demand. There's a school, there's a place kids are going to go, there's a neighborhood. Let's put the crossing at the end of that road right there. And let's go a step further and put in a stoplight the pedestrian can activate, but synchronize it with the lights on either end, so that when I ask for a crosswalk, it doesn't give me the walk signal unless it knows cars are stopped anywhere and I'm clear of a platoon. Then it gives me my walk. It stops traffic at that as well. I get across halfway. I have to ask for another one for the other half because I have to synchronize with that light. And arguably, that's still a better design than an overpass that doesn't get used, right? Does everybody get that? That it's sort of, this not being used solves zero, other than we spend a lot more money on it than we could have on the intersection I just proposed. All right, so Roberta, let me tell you a little story. Roberta said she's had women tell her they're concerned about using this section of the trail. And I think it's only a couple hundred yards long, if I'm just to the end of the concrete. Yeah, because the concrete wall sort of shields them from view. Simply, you're just shielded from view, so you feel somewhat vulnerable. So, off the top of your heads, come up with 4 solutions, potential solutions to that.
Lighting.
All right, so you could put some lighting. Imagine some low-level lighting that's directed down. By the way, it's a park setting, so we're not trying to create you know,
Fluorescent
a lot of
bulb,
light
yeah.
pollution.
Parking lot.
So, but you could do some bollard-style lighting that's down low. So there are communities that have what are called Friends of the Trail organizations. So imagine I had a Friends of the Trail organization that actually scheduled regular people. By the way, they do not have to ever get involved in a violent action. All we have to do is have people who have like a jacket that say Friends of the Trail or a baseball hat and a cell phone. And if they see something that makes them uncomfortable,
Yeah.
they make a phone call and they bang, you know, that feels different if there's somebody here that's another pair of eyes. So what if you just had a schedule such that at those certain times of day where it would, you know,
Or, I mean, do you get enough people to volunteer?
just throwing it out as an idea. So maybe that's one more.
Yeah, it works in other places.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, places have done it. Yeah, yeah.
It is. We have a huge coalition too.
Keep going. All right, you still only gave me 3. So far I've heard lights, more overall traffic, but I didn't really like that one because that's their, but Friends of the Trail and a trail patrol.
Set up a buddy
All
program.
right, so a buddy program. So you could do an online system where people could partner up. You could have a sign-in sheet. The Friends of the Trail organization could have a registry, and you could do it very carefully. You can only partner people with people that they choose to connect with. You know, maybe women would only want to go with other women that they felt comfortable. You know, there are a lot of ways. Good. So buddy system. Keep going. I don't know that you. Now we went high tech and we stayed on this side of the wall. Is it impossible to create a viable walkway or pathway on the other side
That's
for
what
the
I was saying.
150
I'm not
feet?
sure why they put it on the side of the wall to start with.
I mean, I understand there are plantings here and so on, but I got to tell you, the moment you start to talk about those costly interventions, figuring out a way to make a path on the other side starts to look cost effective.
Louisville has some great parks, and one of
Absolutely.
them has the same dimension of
Yep,
road.
yep.
On the inside, you've got a line that
Striped line.
demarcates your ped bike area.
Yep.
On the outside, there's no parking except for pullouts.
Yep.
I thought that concept would work real well
Yeah,
here, where it
absolutely.
just designate pullout areas.
And this notion of sort of having that striped line, you could then we would have a striped section right on this section of the road right here, and you'd have solved the problem
so
because
this guy
that
here would be
I'd just
riding
jump
in
out.
the bike ped area.
Yep, he'd be on a designated, both striped and decaled area that says pedestrians and bicyclists. He'd be good. Then the woman who's running down here and feels a little unnervous, she just steps out, boom, goes on that bike ped trail along the road, then jumps back onto the greenway over there. How hard would it be to do a raised crossing right here that came from this sidewalk right in, could go right to that coffee, you know, the sitting area. Clearly people want to use it, right? And by the way, this is where the drive-through is, so you want to slow that traffic anyway. So if that were raised up, you know what I mean? You guys know what I'm talking about with the speed table where it raises up, goes flat?
I actually had a good idea.
It's a brilliant idea. And this is exactly where you'd put it, right? Because people are clearly desirous of, you know, just being able to sit there. And those ladies may have come by car, but it doesn't mean it wouldn't still be, you know, appropriate to give.
Again, this site could be designed right up to the sidewalk.
Well, then the really cool thing, bring the whole Starbucks to here, right? And create a green kind of corner. You change the whole complexion of this intersection. And if over time you did it, so something's gonna happen with that gas station over there. What if that one got readapted and pulled up? You got a house on this corner, that bank, that's sort of set back. But the point is, you could change the character. This could feel like a neighborhood corner rather than suburbia anywhere in the United States, which is what it feels like right now. I could, you know, this gas station, bank setback, Starbucks setback, anywhere in the US, right? Standard suburban schlock. You could, you guys don't want to be that. And it's not hard fixes. The best way to do it is have it be an ordinance. Have the ordinance say, we have a 20-foot build-to line, not a setback line, so that they actually were required to build up to this. It's really been great to look around the community and see both some of the challenges you face, but also some of the great successes. I'm really enthused at the quality of the greenway system you're building and how much progress there is. We just had a ribbon cutting the other day of another section of the trail, and I'm really excited to see that many sections are designed and conceived, and it's just a matter of chipping away, getting the funding, and doing the work to build out this great greenway system. There's also a real tremendous focus on revitalizing the downtown and on encouraging both businesses to locate down here, but also people to move back in and repopulate the downtown, which is a wonderfully walkable district. So it really encourages people to be active as a part of their daily lives. I think there's much good stuff happening, but you also face great challenges. Evansville, like so many communities of this size across the country, has really started to suffer what I have to call suburban sprawl. You've got neighborhoods just moving up into the cornfields to the north and getting further and further from one another and from shopping and from schools. You know, the location of the high school out on the perimeter of town, the North High School, is really unfortunate because every child is going to arrive there by car or by bus. So we're going to have to think about those kinds of decisions going forward. Where do we want to locate our schools? How do we want to design our subdivisions? Do we want to make sure we always include sidewalks and require a connection to the trail system? The good news is you've got a great coalition of partners here that are very much dedicated to that. So not only do I encourage their work, but I encourage all of you to get involved. Maybe you can help with a local community garden, or maybe you can help set up a walk to school program in your school. Maybe you can just walk with a group of kids to your neighborhood, from your neighborhood to school on a regular basis. Whatever you do though, get involved, be an agent of change to help create a healthier, more active community.